We do, because Stephen Smart is talking to Harry Banks. Stephen?
Tony, we actually have Dana Larsen with us here. Dana was the first candidate into the race. You are also, unfortunately for you, the first off the ballot with 531 votes. How are you feeling? Are you, obviously it's not the result you wanted, but given that you weren't necessarily favored to win to begin with, you had a pretty strong showing there.
I feel good about what happened today. I knew I was the underdog coming into this race, but I think it's been a really wonderful campaign for me. I've had a really positive response to my platform and my ideas from the members of our party. I think we accomplished everything we set out to accomplish when we launched our campaign, and I'm feeling great.
Candidly, I think a lot of people had dismissed you off the bat, but then actually heard you at some of the debates and some of the discussions, and you made some very good points, and I think your message resonated with a lot of people. Do you feel you were able to get your point out there? Were you able to accomplish everything you wanted to accomplish other than winning, obviously?
Yeah, no, we had a really solid platform and some really specific policy proposals that I think members of the party did really enjoy hearing. I had people telling me from all the other campaigns how glad they were that I was in this race, that I brought important ideas forward. Not everyone gave me their first ballot pick. That's understandable, but I think the message I brought forward has really worked within the party, and I think that I'll be hopefully running as an MLA and be part of the caucus in the future.
Well, I was going to ask you, it's very likely that we are going to be going to a provincial election likely in the fall. How are you feeling about being a more permanent fixture on the political scene?
Well, I've had a really warm reception from the members of the party. It's a little early right now to say what's going to happen, but I would love to be part of the caucus. I'm looking for a riding I can try to run in, and I want to keep contributing to the BC NDP as much as I possibly can.
Last question. When it became clear you weren't going to get the result you wanted, you did go stand up there with John Horgan. How are you feeling about his chances? He had quite a strong showing in that first ballot.
John had a very strong showing, but it looks like my votes plus his votes is not going to be enough to push him over the top. So I don't think John's going to be the next leader of our party. The numbers just aren't going to do it for him, unfortunately.
Dana, thanks very much.
Hey, thank you for having me.
That's up. Tony, Gloria, Dana Larsen.
All right, Stephen, thanks so much. Gloria?
Well, it is interesting to hear from Dana Larsen about his impact on the campaign, or how this campaign could influence his future, perhaps. But let's bring the panel into the discussion again. Jeff Davies, how much of an impact has Dana Larsen had on this campaign?
I think people were somewhat surprised by Dana Larsen. They may have expected a novelty candidate, maybe have tended to dismiss him given his past, which was very much that of a marijuana activist. That is the principal element of his political biography. But he was out there with all kinds of policy positions. I think he gave the longest keynote speech today, all kinds of positions on all kinds of issues, not afraid of the S word. He calls himself a socialist. Is that to move to a socialist ideal here? I think at the one debate I went to, he had a line that brought down the House when they were talking about the HST referendum. He said, let's tax THC, not HST, and they roared at that. So I think people were somewhat surprised and perhaps gave him a little more serious treatment than I was expecting.
And what about you, Elise Mills? Watching from the Liberal bench, was Dana Larsen a write-off or a contender?
Well, you know, he's very reflective of I think the number one problem the NDP or any political party has. They've got 4 or 5 different, points of view running through as a current into their party, which is part of the reason why we see such turbulence and trying to get them to come together under one tent. I think Dana Larsen's reflective of one of those currents that runs through the party. It's an extreme activist type membership that follows him. But British Columbians are addicted to a populist centrist party. That's what they want. They're not extreme. They're not left. They're not right. I think they like to stay the course. So for us, it was a bit of entertainment. He's definitely got a good sense of humor, and he showed very, very well. A lot of the points that Jeff just made, I completely agree with. So,
and David Schreck, how would you gauge the reception to Dana Larsen in the room today?
I owe Dana an apology, actually. When he first declared, I questioned whether his nomination should even be approved. He's proven himself to be a responsible, credible candidate. At all of the all-candidates meetings, he conducted himself with the utmost dignity. He contributed, and unlike what I was worried about, he was not a one-issue candidate. Now, ironically, at the same time this leadership was going on, Mark Emery in the United States is being treated in a discriminatory, outrageous manner, never charged of an offense in Canada, and not being given any sort of reasonable or fair treatment in the United States. If we didn't have such a right-wing government in Canada, we'd be diplomatically objecting, and Dana Larsen is right to speak out on issues like that.
Okay, thank you very much.